Michael, lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Absolute
Firstly,
pleasure.
could you start by just telling us a little bit about who you are?
So I am a surfer from the east coast of South Africa.
Cool.
There is absolutely no wine sort of culture or knowledge or anything like that in the eastern coast of South Africa. So it's a bit of a weird sort of career choice for me to have come to Stellenbosch and now be working as a winemaker. I fell in love with science at school, wanted to study a BSc degree, business science degree. A lot of my mates from school were moving up to Stellenbosch at the time, and I wanted to get away from my parents at the same time. So ended up in Stellenbosch University. My mom and I were looking through degrees, came across viticulture and enology, a scientific degree, but I had absolutely no inkling of a clue as to what that was at the time.
Yeah.
Read a little bit into the sort of degree, and then said, oh, that's something that may interest me. I really fell in love with winemaking after about my third year of tuition at varsity, and I was lucky enough to win a free trip through Toneleria National, a South American barrel manufacturing company, through my studies to go to South America, where I met Leon Esterhazen, who is our wine director, and yeah, he took a liking to me, I think, in South America, and
The rest is history.
The rest is history, basically.
So now you're head winemaker for Journey's End. Could you just explain to the team a little bit more about, in summary, who Journey's End are as a brand?
Cool, yeah. So Journey's End were established in 1995, towards the end of 1995, early 1996, by the Gabb family, who are from Shropshire in the UK. They have a rich sort of heritage in wine importation into the UK, so are extremely sort of passionate about wine. Their passion really relays through the entirety of our team, I would say, as well. But yeah, that's when we were basically established, so relatively recently established in comparison to some of the other wineries in South Africa. But we've come a long way since 1995. Our cellar was only constructed in 2010, so I've got an absolute state-of-the-art cellar to work with. So I've landed my arse in the butter a little bit, for lack of a better word.
And what are the kind of the key pillars of Journey's End? So obviously, we've been looking at quality of fruit, the variety of wines that you choose to work with, and the sustainability credentials. So tell us a little bit about
Cool.
that.
Yeah, so a whole approach towards making wine, I'd say, at Journey's End is a minimal intervention approach. We try to do as little as possible in the vineyards, while still maintaining soil health and a very healthy sort of ecosystem. We consider our sort of sustainability exercise in three pillars, I'd say, at Journey's End. The one being obviously environmental sustainability. So we have a heap ton of water catchment channels which capture all of our rainwater. All of the water that comes out of the cellars also used to irrigate horse paddocks, for instance. We do our own worm sort of casting and worm farming to fertilize our vineyards. That's the environmental, and there's a heap ton of different things I could say about that, but what's very important for us at Journey's End is also our community or sort of communal sort of sustainability exercise. So in 2020 we established the Journey's End Foundation. So we run 7 soup kitchens, we run creches, we've developed schools, we've developed sort of programs against violence and gangsterism or bullying people at school, things like that, which has been really beneficial for our local community.
Yep. And it's really giving something back to that.
100%, yeah. So 100% of our employees live in Solari's Pass Village, which is quite an impoverished sort of village right next door to the farm.
Yep.
And what's really important
just
for us,
down there.
yeah, just down the road over there. What's really important for us is that we give back to the community as much as we use them for labor and whatever we do on the farm. So yeah, we set out, we established the Journey's End Foundation in 2020, not knowing that in 2020 coronavirus would hit us.
Change the world.
Yeah, change the world completely. We set out to do, I think, about 420,000 meals per year, and we exceeded that by more than double in our first year operating in 2020. I mean, a lot of these guys live on a week-to-week basis in terms of financing their families, or sometimes a day-to-day basis in terms of financing their families. And it was just an opportunity for people to go and get a free meal every single week, feed their families without having that added stress and without having any opportunity for employment at the time.
Well, we've seen it today. Really humbling experience and a fantastic initiative. So, well done from Journey's End perspective. Really good.
Yeah.
Moving on. So, obviously, the V1 Chardonnay is the one of the two products we currently list from Journey's End, and it's the one that we do by the glass across Hotel de Van. Could you tell us a little bit about the wine, its viticulture, its vinification, and then sort of talk about what the team should feel
express
when
about the wine. Got you. So we on the southern extremity of Africa. We in South Africa in the Western Cape. And we fit into part of the Stellenbosch wine growing appellation, but technically we're in a slightly or a different town, a little bit southeast of Stellenbosch, called Somerset West. So we're the most southeastern extremity of the Stellenbosch wine growing appellation. We sort of encapsulated, as you can see around me, by the Hottentots Holland mountain range on our southern and sort of southeastern points. Northern and northwestern points, we have the Helderberg mountain range. Helderberg meaning in Afrikaans shining mountain, and that's because the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, and when it sets in the west it actually turns all of the mountains behind us completely pink. And that's why they call it the shining mountain range. So it's a beautiful sunset to sort of envisage here at Journey's End. We are in very close proximity, I'm sure you can see, to the ocean. We're about 6 kilometers away from the ocean as the crow flies. So we get a very coastal influence on our vineyards and our terroir. All of our slopes are south facing, which are colder slopes. So we have very long ripening periods, very nice high natural acidity, a lot of minerality, a lot of salinity due to everything I've said now. But what you should get in this wine is a real thread, and you'll get it right throughout the range of Journey's End wines, is a thread of salinity, like a saline saltiness, oyster shelly type of note that comes through. You also get a granite type of minerality as well in the wine. We have very good fruit definition and great fruit concentration in this area, but we're still able to maintain very high natural acidity. So the wine should be really fresh, approachable, mineral, a bit saline. But yeah, freshness and approachability is what wine is about for me in this day and age, because you don't want somebody to drink one glass of your wine and say, okay, that's a foodie wine and I don't want to come back for it. I want something that I can drink through enjoyability, quaffability. Yeah.
So to just touch on the vinification, because obviously that's got an interesting story with the...
So we're using a combination of French barriques. We use a combination of 300 litre as well as 228 litre format barrels. So pretty much the same sort of literage in terms of barrels. 10% of the entirety of the blend is made from new French oak barriques. 70% of the entirety of the blend is made from older French oak. And then the remaining 20% we're using a combination of terracotta clay pots as well as concrete eggs. Okay. What makes these alternative vessels very unique for me is that is the shape of the vessel. So it's got a concave floor to the vessel, which sort of allows you to keep your lees and your sediment in circulation or in suspension for longer periods of time without manipulation.
Yeah, perfect. And last question. We know we've discussed already the V1 Chardonnay is super versatile when it comes to food and wine pairing, but what would be your recommendation to the team in terms of what type of dishes, type of foods, type of cuisines would you recommend, and do you have a perfect pairing?
Any white fish sort of dish will pair perfectly with this wine. As you mentioned, it is extremely versatile. I've tried our V1 Chardonnay with really sort of stinky blue cheeses, and it works extremely well. Nice. My personal favorite would be a prawn curry. Cool. So a little bit of spiciness with a lot of freshness and minerality really tends to sort of match well. And I'm by no means a sommelier or somebody who likes to pair wine with food. I think more on the wine side of things, but again, it's an extremely versatile drink, so it can go really well with anything. But I'd recommend it for sort of oysters, sushi, any white fish dish.
Okay. Well, look, thank you so much indeed for your time. It's really lovely to hear all about the wine, about the story of Journey's End. Thank you for making it. We love selling it, and cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Pleasure.